Welcome to the Romania River channel and my first impressions of Space Pirates and Zombies 2, or if you prefer the short version, SPAZ 2, a game by MinMax games and published by them, a relatively small, not that well known indie developer. And to be honest, compared to their first game, SPAZ 1, well, this game is an evolution in many regards. For me, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I kind of like SPAZ 1's style more. That's just my opinion. But in terms of polish, graphical optimization, and just interest, yeah, the game's quite fun and quite amusing. But before we get into too much spoiler for later, I'm just gonna say that the standard disclaimer applies. I got a review copy for this game for the purposes of doing this video. And I bought Space Pirates and Zombies 1 when that was about a year or so from release, so to a slight degree I've known these developers for quite a long time. That said, currently the game has one rather weird gremlin poking about. I don't know if it's for everybody, and I've not seen it reflected in many reviews, if at all, so it probably could be something with my own personal rig, but in certain instances the game crashes the graphics driver, usually when I'm zooming out completely into the strategic map. Well, technically it would be fully zoomed out in the strategic map. Now, I've played in total about 15 hours in this game, more or less, and finished the single player campaign. That, for a veteran of SPAZ 1, tells you that the game has gotten markedly shorter in terms of story. The original SPAZ, you could probably get 20 to 25 hours if you weren't too anal retentive about the grind. God, I hate it when it goes into cinematic mode like that. I'm gonna have to move the cursor around while I talk. In this game, while the storyline in itself is iterative more than completely new, think more Homeworld 1 to Homeworld 2-ish in a certain structural mode in terms of what was carried over and what was not. The story itself, flows nicely. You don't have to do a lot of grind, unlike the first game. And while it does get a wee bit long in the tooth towards the end, and personally that experience was with 0.80, it has a satisfactory conclusion. Now with 0.8.4 I managed to actually finish the damn game, because with 0.80, yeah, I was having a lot of trouble. But that was mostly because I screwed myself into a corner. And yeah, with 15 hours I think I might have actually rushed a wee bit. Now, to avoid any particular story spoilers, we're gonna go into the sandbox mode, which is also quite a new feature for the Space Pirates and Zombies series. In the original game, I don't think you had the option to play a sandbox, but you could basically just ignore the storyline to a large degree. You had to actually continue to progress it at certain intervals to get access to more shit, but after a certain point you were like, fuck it. There are also more, how should I put this, political elements in the game, because you have factions. You can also create your own faction. You have a lot of shit to do, unlike the first one where you're basically one dude, well, one group of dudes and a chick with one big ship and a bunch of escort ships you could grind through. In this game you don't have the escort ships running about solo, you have your mothership running around, so taking on battles isn't as easy to do now, because a battle can end very badly. Now the sandbox mode, I haven't really poked around much with it, because yeah. But overall looks pretty much what you'd get in the campaign mode. Expert, of course. The game itself at current has computer generated voices. It does not have voice acting. And the computer generated voices, while good, at certain points you kind of feel the need for the inflection. This is your game world. It's not just one solar system, it's the entire world. So basically this is the galaxy. I should have actually caught on earlier when I was playing the game for the research element of this video, that this is a galactic nucleus. Well, yeah. People catch on things a bit later than they should.
Apparently your intestines are...
Cargo acquired.
I wonder. Need StarCraft. Okay, let's see about StarCraft.
We wouldn't be very respect.
We have the short bus, which is a classic from the old era. We don't have enough money, do we? No, we do not. We'll have to fix that. Versus the first game in the series, we have, besides res and argoons, which are used for many things in this game, also money in the form of scrap.
Pillaging successful.
Now, in the initial phases, I recommend everybody, and I do mean everybody who plays the game, take their bloody time, because you don't want to be as stupid as I was when I started off. In the campaign mode, I took time to find all these things, which are the story lore bits, and I collected all of them. And that's what probably saved me from having to restart the game 2 or 3 times. Because I did run around and experience everything I could. Do we have any more? No, we do not. Okay, so we're gonna have to get more ships. Oh, more strike-craft. Because apparently in this game, a full-fledged cruiser is a strike-craft. The Star Cruiser type. And for anybody who knows space strategy games, generally cruisers are not considered strike craft tier ships. Now the lore, I wonder. Nah. Well, I'd have to load up the other one to show you guys the lore, but I think I won't, simply because showing it would spoil most of the storyline of Res 1, because it contains references, and in a couple of cases also has some interesting interactions between, I should put this, the characters. The characters on your ship, basically.
I try not to start fights like...
She just told you that, well, told us that that's your escape point. You just go next to it and pray to God your hull holds out long enough to actually get the fuck out of Dodge. Now the current version of the ship is shite. Why, thank you, organ donors. You really can't do much besides menacing strike-craft to a fair degree, and not even that, because these are pretty much actual bloody strike-craft, unlike cruisers and stuff like that. That was the reload mechanic, because in this version of the game, yeah, technically speaking, in the final version of the game, you will have to deal with reloading your weapons, because apparently having God mode levels of power is too much. I like that a wee bit more balanced out. Oh yeah, here's a couple of missile racks. And a decently aesthetic ship, so to say. The one thing this game will have most people in stitches about is how it will trigger people with OCD. Because your mothership being your main ship, your main combat ship that is, which is basically your main ship because there is not much else to do. There is a slight trade element or tax element in there, but you don't fly ships to do that. You run around stations to...
In an effort to curb interplanetary
Ooh, junk parts. Recall, and let's scavenge. Because that's
Cargo
how you can possibly get components,
gain safe area.
which are quite important for your long-term survivability. That's that, and here we go. This is where you change up your mothership. Now, by standard, this is not at all an optimal design, but up until you get components, you really are stuck with what you can get. Junk parts are freely available at any station that is actually built, these being locations where you can build stations, but not much else.
Map updated.
Now that's part of a faction. Attack one, you piss off the entire faction.
Behold, there is research data that has not yet been allocated.
We're gonna go with that. And we also have more
Completely disgusted
components.
by the
Stop. We don't need tutorials. We're gonna leave people to find out about tutorial stuff on their own. A junkyard is a junkyard. These bits nobody wants, but they're useful. Macro emitters, micro blasters, micro missile. Yeah, so nothing really in here. As you gain levels, you can add more cores to your ship, which are the main body, this bit. Just to give you guys an idea of how one looks, and each one has its own particular style or function. For example, you can have power cores, which increase either the amount of energy you have more drastically than regular cores would, increase your reactor reload speed, stuff like that. Because God knows not having speedy reactor recovery is one of the things you really don't want to do.
Area.
Twiddling your thumb while strike craft are shooting you to bits is not one of the funniest things you can do. And I've done it about 4 or 5 times. Especially when the zombies start showing up, then it gets really fun. Let's see, can we start a faction? I don't think we can. Yes, we can actually, but we need more resources. He's picked a fight with a 9. We can get in on this and get more relationship. Because once you form your own faction, everybody you did good with will want to start actually joining up with your faction if they're neutrals. So building up relationship is a good idea. Infected signals means there are infected ships on the map, which are spawned from those egg things. Anybody who's played Space Pirates and Zombies 1 knows what those things are. Anyone who did not, well, you guys are gonna have fun discovering that. Now the strike campers themselves are quite interesting little things, but at the current level that they're at, i.e. short buses, they are not really durable. In fact, anybody who's played SPAZ 1, which I'll be saying a lot of, knows that the short bus is the first ship you got access to in the initial, well, in Space Pirates and Zombies 1. Okay, so you can actually die. That's a stupid oversight. I mean, your mothership's still alive. Why would... I moved command over there and then you die. Okay. Let's take care of that bitch first then. That I did not discover before, because when I dicked around with controlling ships like this with F, holy fuck, that's the right hook. Let's get out of here. Taking hits from that, yeah, they did actually kill it. Okay, so don't mess with this particular fight, because there are zombies in it. Okay, lovely thing to discover in your fucking demonstration game for the first impressions. Okay, do not mess with that, because yeah. Let's get more scrap.
Signal detected.
If we tune out,
We won't show these because we'll let you guys actually discover the storyline, if you so choose to start with the second game in the series. Because if not, these are quite huge spoilers for SPAZ 1 in some regards. Though some of the things they do say are
Signal detected.
linked to pre-SPAZ 1 times, so talking about technology, how a certain meat industry got started, what exactly the meat has in it. Yes, they actually do show that one for anybody who knows what I'm referring to. Plus, these are quite an easy way to get your leg through the damn door.
Scanning area.
Hopefully it doesn't bug out. Or if it does, we can use that to actually show you guys how weird that can get. Can we join the faction? No, we cannot yet. And I particularly love this guy. But anyway, let's skip to one of my later game saves in the campaign. Should be, yeah. That was added in 0.84 because people didn't realize when the final battle was ready. Now, compared to what you start off with, in here I have quite a bit more to play with indeed. And we're gonna get into a proper fight to actually show how combat works. Let's see if we can find somebody willing to cooperate and being a target of opportunity. Now, one of the annoying mechanics of the game for me personally is the fact that using your interstellar drive consumes res regardless of whatever the fuck you do. And if you don't have res, you move at this speed and it gets bloody fuck annoying. Now those are zombie ships. Attacking zombie ships, well, everybody hates zombies and zombies hate everybody. Unlike the first game, they're actually a fully fleshed out faction for once. So very interesting to deal with, if you have to deal with them. Yes, they also still infect ships if you're not careful, so keep your ass well clear of any explosion radiuses. Cannon shotgun. Take all and see about the scrap.
Launching successful.
Nice-ish. Oh, how I wish those damn sirens would stop for once.
Launching successful.
Holy fuck. Okay, let's fight. They picked a fight and there were 59, right? Yeah. That's not gonna end well for them. Prepare to get plastered. Avoid those types of clouds. Don't know what generates them, but zombie ships, when they're around, those things pop up, and if you don't have shields, you get infested to hell and back. Components that come from zombie ships can be infected and you have to disinfect them. Now let's see where we can find something to kill. That's a, how should I put this, a life pod for the captains, because unlike you, they respawn. Fair, isn't it? With zombies you can cure them and they become really friendly because you cure them of a disfiguring disease that would turn them into, well, zombies, to be honest. And that usually does not end well for anybody involved.
Catalyzing mode activated.
Keeping an eye on the consumables which you find on the map is also a good idea to do. Because, for example, this one, for example, can save you the need to reload, because it automatically reloads your capacitor fully. Also, avoid ship explosions. If you're caught in the middle of it, doesn't matter if it was a noob ship or somebody much tougher than you are gonna take a hell of a lot of damage, especially if you don't have shields. Termite trap. Now, I'm not too sure with regards to how zombies acquire captains, and at the current time they're not allowed to play zombies, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. But yeah, aside from that, and diplomacy, which is basically, where was it? Can only be dealt with at capital systems, and this is a capital system. Can't we break the alliance? Fairly sure we can. Rather odd. Now, when the zombies spawn and you have about 80 or something like that strength, farming them is an easy way to gain a lot of levels. I mean, I pretty much tapped out doing this. It's one of the easier ways to grind.
Catalyzing mode activated.
And to be honest, you kinda need it, especially when you have to deal with the final boss zombie. I'm not gonna say who or what that is, but yeah. If you're not fully tapped out, you don't have a maximum level of escort ships in terms of oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Shield down in a zombie fight, not a good idea. Especially when you're near that. And my friend died. He tends to do that a lot. but this is this guy done. Zombie ships, like in previous games, tend to launch infection pods. Unlike in Space Pirates and Zombies 1, although I keep saying previous games, I don't bloody know because this is the second one, so it's only now become games. Unlike the first one, they aren't be all end all. Apparently the factions and humanity as a whole learned how to actually deal with zombies and avoid venting the entire atmosphere of your bloody ship.
Dang.
But yeah, at this level I could more or less go the boss zombie and proceed to make sweet love to his rear end. Because notice, unlike every other station in the zombie area, this one has question marks, which means it's very potent. Yeah. Looks like the game isn't trying to get me any glitches this time around. Now, those are standard escape pods. This is our not needed. We can dick around with any escape pods, any old ones. Let's actually kill somebody and show you guys. It's new to the current version of the game. Beforehand, you just saw the escape pods, but you could not interact with them. Even with wagon mode, you have to be very careful what you do. Because you don't have to worry about shooting, but you have to worry about not dying. Ah, he's going to the escape point, huh? Not gonna work, baby. Ramming works quite well in this game. Once you're of sufficient durability, of course. If you aren't, you tend to die quite spectacularly. Anything else? There. I hate it when zombies get mixed in. The side gun that shoots so often and so efficiently is the Mac Hammer. It's an anti-strike craft weapon that works perfectly well against anything, to be honest. Let me just show you guys. Where is it? Where is it? There. Very efficient and takes down shields quite quickly. Now, where are you? Where are you? There you are. There goes his brain. And if nobody sees you, nobody's the wiser. Let's see how fun this gets. Here's a final demonstration. The valves themselves aren't too spectacular in terms of diversity. Yes, you have operations and stuff like that, and they might, well, operations. There's one operation called mining operation, and they might add more. But unless you get into significantly difficult fights, which this certainly isn't, you won't have much to deal with. Shit, I do not want to be close to that thing when it blows. And it goes. So yeah, aside from that, and aside from having to deal with taxation without representation, because you're that type of individual, and you go to your capital system to collect, and you get a lot of shit, and the res is really important. Yeah, pretty much everything there is to see and experience in this game. If you like simplistic politics and having to deal with zombies of the space variety and the lovely risk type behavior you do with the other factions, it's quite a good game. I'm at war with these guys and they fucking hate me. But yeah, overall, if you liked Space Pirates and Zombies 1 a lot, you may like Space Pirates and Zombies 2 equally much. The end of the storyline, for me personally, was very enjoyable. I will not give details, but it's well worth taking it all the way, so to say. In terms of staying power, personally, once I finished the campaign, I was kinda done, but I'm pretty much that sort of player that likes knowing the story, if there's a story. If there isn't, and if there's a open world or strategic element, I'll probably play the game until I get bored with it, which could be anything from 20 to 80 hours. In this case, if there was the storyline, it would probably be a 40-hour game for me. Outside of the Space Pirates and Zombies 1 veteran group, well, the game itself is very entertaining for somebody who's either new to the whole Nexus the Jupiter incident or Starfleet Command type genres. And it's quite easy to pick up, but I would recommend not playing at expert difficulty levels if you don't have any experience in the genre, or if you're rusty. I banged my head against many asteroids doing that. And do not rush, even if you play in sandbox or storyline mode, whichever one you prefer. Do not rush. Take it slow, build up a lot of resources, especially res, because later on res will be rare as fuck. And your engine eats res for breakfast. But yeah, with that in mind, with the whole politics, rudimentary as it is, with the mothership that you can upgrade and turn into a, well, great machine more or less, it's a game worth recommending in my opinion. 20 euros is pretty much perfect for this type of game, and if they add in proper mod support, i.e. let modders put in components for ships or allow to play with the zombie faction, for example, because I would really rather be curious about how those guys play overall, though I suspect it would be a wee bit overpowered. And if the ending of the game itself is anything to go by, we're gonna be seeing a sequel or DLC of that description for the game. And while DLC can be hit or miss depending on the developer, in this case MinMax Games, well, the guys over there at least showed they want to make good games, not just make money. So yeah, overall a recommendation, either if you're new to the genre or trying to get back into it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, Bafta. Bloody fucking hell, I have to scrub the ship clean again.